If God is in control, why do bad things happen? One of the most challenging questions for believers and skeptics alike is this: if God is truly in control of everything, why do bad things still happen? This question has echoed through the ages in moments of suffering, loss, and chaos. It is a deep and personal question that touches every human life, whether through personal tragedy, natural disasters, or global injustice. Many wonder how a good and all-powerful God can allow pain, suffering, and evil to exist. Understanding this tension requires exploring the nature of God, the reality of free will, and the purpose of suffering in a fallen world. At the heart of this question is the belief in God's sovereignty. Christians affirm that God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and always present. The Bible clearly teaches that God is in control. The Lord has established his throne in heaven, and his kingdom rules over all. Psalm 103 verse 19. Nothing escapes his awareness or authority. However, this does not mean that everything that happens is something God causes directly. There's a difference between God allowing something and God approving of it. The existence of evil and suffering is not evidence of God's absence or indifference, but rather a consequence of a deeper reality, human free will and the brokenness of creation. God created humanity with the ability to choose. Love, trust, and obedience are only meaningful if they are freely given. If God were to control every action and decision, we would be robots, not beings made in his image. Unfortunately, with free will comes the potential for sin. The first act of disobedience in the Garden of Eden introduced sin into the world, and with it came suffering, pain, and death. Genesis 3. This brokenness has affected not only human hearts, but all of creation. As Romans 8:22 says, we know that the whole creation has been groaning, as in the pains of childbirth, right up to the present time. But if God foresaw the consequences of giving humanity free will, why allow it at all? Because in his infinite wisdom, God saw that love, growth, and redemption are greater goods than forced obedience. He knew that even in a world where bad things happen, his purposes could still be fulfilled. He does not delight in suffering. Rather, he enters into it with us. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, came into our world not to live a life of luxury and ease, but to suffer, die, and rise again. The cross is the ultimate evidence that God is not distant from our pain. He understands it intimately and uses it for eternal purposes. Sometimes God allows suffering to strengthen us or teach us. Just as a loving parent may allow a child to face difficult lessons for their growth, God can use hardship to build our character, deepen our faith, and prepare us for greater purposes. James 1:2-4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." This doesn't mean we enjoy suffering, but that we trust God to bring good out of it. Moreover, we must also remember that this life is not the whole story. From an eternal perspective, our earthly troubles are temporary and light compared to the glory that awaits, 2 Corinthians 4:17. We live in the already but not yet of God's kingdom. Already Jesus has defeated sin and death, but not yet has he returned to make all things new. Until then, we groan with creation, longing for restoration. But we do so with hope, not despair. God is in control, but he also honors our freedom. He allows the natural consequences of a fallen world, yet he is always working behind the scenes, redeeming what is broken and turning evil into good. He invites us to be part of his work, to bring light to dark places, to comfort those who mourn, and to fight for justice and mercy. In the end, the question, why do bad things happen, may never be fully answered on this side of eternity, but we are not left without comfort or direction. We know that God is good, God is present, and God is at work, even in the midst of tragedy, and one day, he will wipe every tear from our eyes, and there will be no more death, or mourning, or pain, Revelation 21:4. Until then, we trust him, even when we don't understand.